What's up, YouTube? If you have a screen printing business or an apparel business and you're like us, you have realized that there are a ton of options out there. There's everything from Chinese printers to printers made here in the U.S. or at least sold here in the U.S. What to buy, when to buy. It has been a confusing process for us, and I would assume that if you're doing it, it is a confusing process for you too. My wife and I got into this in November of 2022 from our home in our basement, small. We did mostly wide format printing, banners, stickers, and then we decided to get into apparel. Once we got into apparel, we realized there are so many ways to do this. We did a lot of heat transfer vinyl off a wide format plotter. That worked. Then we started doing some screen printing. We realized we ran out of room in our basement, and about a year and a half ago, we opened a brick and mortar store, more for space than anything. A large portion of our customers are B2B or business to business, and we have noticed that their expectations for apparel continue to grow. More complex designs, more colors. Screen printing is great, but when you get to 7, 8, 9 colors, you have to also have the equipment to handle that. Over the last 6 months or so, we've found ourselves buying a lot of DTF from other companies. If you are in that same spot where you don't know if it's best to buy a printer or buy DTF, the one thing I can say is DTF gets expensive fast when you're buying it from other companies. Paying $4, $6, $7 for a 12 by 12 design, you realize that you are throwing your profits out the window. We've done it. We've continued to do it because we didn't know that we were at the place yet to spend the money that it takes to buy a quality DTF printer. One of the things that we really looked at making our decision was we want quality control. We've ordered from several different companies. That quality control is not in our hands. Sometimes we get transfers that are just thick, and you can tell the powder is laid on there thick. You can get stuff that's peeling. You have no way to adjust that quality on the fly. You have what you have, and to try to get a hold of any of these companies and have them print you new transfers, our customers don't like the long lead times. It is one problem after the other, and the expense is outrageous. You know, we found some companies that they'll give you a discount on if you order 1,000 transfers, but when you're ordering 10, 15, 20, it is a lot of money, and you can just see your profits going out the window. We have done hours and hours of research when it comes to what printer to buy, what width printer, what shaker. You see a lot of companies and a lot of YouTubers ordering from Alibaba and overseas. I'm not a super patient guy. I have no desire to wait 6 months for this to ship, not to mention the technical support, if there, is done overnight when we're not open. So being new into the DTF game, it is just really hard for us to justify saving the money to buy from Alibaba and not have the technical support or the resources to get this thing up and running or to diagnose problems when they arise. We quickly came to realize that buying a printer from a company in the United States was the way we were going to do this. That being said, buying a printer from a company in the United States, that still leaves you a vast array of options. I mean, you can go from Amazon to converting regular household printers to these big industrial machines that I knew that were larger than we needed, at least to get started. So we started looking at a reliable machine, and maintenance was one of the big things that we just didn't want to deal with every day. This shop is run with my wife and myself, so to spend an hour every morning trying to get a machine started up and 2 hours wet capping and trying to shut the machine down and then hoping you have a good run the next day is just not something that we had the time to do. We needed something that we didn't know if we would run 10 hours a day or 6 hours a day. We don't know what that demand is going to be, and we wanted to be able to leave it sit for a day or two and know that when we started it back up, that it was going to run with a quick nozzle check and be ready to go. From the title of this video, I'm assuming that you can already tell that we ordered the Epson SureColor G6070. It was kind of a no-brainer after all of our research. We saw that Epson was late into the game of DTF, and they've done that with sublimation. They've done it with direct-to-garment. They want to know when they put a product on the market that it is going to work, and it is going to work well. I trust Epson. I think there's a reason that everybody else is using the Epson heads on their machines, and they brand them themselves. Epson is claiming that the maintenance on these machines is a matter of a few minutes a week plus shaking the white ink every day. If that's the case, that is a perfect option for us. Having hours and hours of maintenance time just doesn't work for our production schedule. We have laser engraving and embroidery and screen printing to do. So to babysit a machine just to make it work is not something that is going to work well in our shop environment. Once we made the decision that the G6070 was the way we were going to go, then became the process of finding a shaker or a bundle that we could pair this with that would work for us. There are a lot of companies in the US selling bundles. All of the 6070s are obviously the same, but there is a huge difference in shakers. We researched many companies that are selling these, and what we realized was the huge difference, the multitude of things that some do and that some don't. One of the concerns for us was how many of these transfers were we going to do at a time, day to day, month to month. We know what we ordered, but we really didn't know what our quantities were going to be going forward. So we get some customers that come in and I want 5 t-shirts, I want 3 hoodies. So to have a shaker that needs to pull the film from the take-up reel would have caused us to waste feet and feet and feet of this every time we wanted to do a few transfers. Now, yes, there are ways to do it right off the front of the printer with a separate powder and a separate oven, but that's another expense that we just didn't want to have. After researching a ton of these shakers, what we realized was the EasyJet Pro 36 kind of checked all the boxes for us. It has an automatic powdering system, so you don't have to stand there and manually add powder in. It has a light, a low indicator powder light that will show you, even if you're not standing over the machine, that it needs attention. Also, it has both the air vacuum assist and the conveyor with top and bottom heat as these transfers are going through. That pulls these through instead of being pulled through by the take-up reel. So if you don't want to use the take-up reel, you don't need to, or you don't have the quantity of transfers to do huge gang sheets, it's easy to just cut them right off the front of this powderer. With the exception of a couple, that was the only one that really checked all of those boxes for us without having to purchase additional equipment. Another nice thing about this powder shaker is that it does fit through a 36-inch door. We don't have bay doors here. We only have the 36-inch commercial doors, so trying to get something larger in here was pretty much a non-starter for us. It does take a little bit of work, just to be completely transparent. You have to remove the top from it and turn it on its side to make that happen. But given what we needed to do, that little bit of extra work didn't seem like a huge deal breaker to us. I've watched all the videos that were provided on it, and it seems pretty simple. One of the things being new into the DTF game that did kind of create a little bit of pause for us was there is no dealer setup on these machines, the shaker or the Epson. So we watched a lot of videos. From what Epson is claiming, this setup is pretty easy. I haven't seen any YouTube videos out there that show what these setups really are, other than from Epson itself. Of course, the company is going to make it look easy, but I hope that it is easy as they're saying. We have experience with other wide format printers, setting them up, taking them down, moving them, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. but I guess we'll see. The powder shaker, they have some pretty good videos on how to disassemble it, how to turn it on its side. The company that we're working with actually does the disassembly pretty much for you, and then has a pretty easy step-by-step video on how to reassemble it once you get it through the door. So now the big question is, what are we waiting for? I would love to be able to show you all of this today and show you it in action. Obviously, that is not the case since I'm just sitting in front of a camera. We have been told by Epson, by our dealer through Epson, that our G6070 will ship next week. If that is the case, we should have it by the following week. We're going to take you guys along for the ride. We're going to show you what it looks like when it comes in, crated, and all the way through the setup and startup video. I guess we'll learn this together. We are brand new, again, to the DTF game. We have never run one of these printers before. We have never run this RIP software before. So we will see how easy it is. Hopefully, because there's not a lot of organic YouTube videos out there, you guys will learn something right along with us. We can't wait to get it going. We can't wait to stop spending all this money on other DTF from other companies. And if you guys need DTF, or you want your company featured as we're printing this stuff out, feel free to look us up. Comment on the bottom of the video. We're also at thegraphicspros.com. You can reach out that way. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and like these videos. It helps us out a lot. We'll see you when this printer gets here.